It promises to be insightful. We will be focusing on the UK Global Talent Visa during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Our coach is in the room, and our coach for today's session is actually a member of the eMigr8 community who has gone through the journey with eMigr8 Open Day. Thank you for joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Our focus will be on the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology, also known as the Tech Nation Visa. That's going to be our focus today. It promises to be very informative and also inspiring. We will be spending about 1 hour, 30 minutes or thereabout, focusing on the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. We'll be looking at the journey. We'll be looking at the journey for beginners. We'll be looking at the journey for intermediate level people in the field of technology. We'll be looking at what you can do as a beginner to plan. And if you already qualify, we'll be looking at some of the tips around your application process. What are some of the things that you should be doing today? What are some of the documents that you should be putting together as regards your application process? We'll talk a bit about eMigr8 as well, the platform that is bringing this to you. eMigr8 community is one of the key aspects of eMigr8 platform. And with the community, we run a freemium model. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. You will hear about how eMigr8 can help your journey. You would also hear about a number of free resources that are available if you are applying for the Tech Nation visa. A number of free resources are available. If you wait till the end, we've got a gift for you as well. And all of this we will be covering during this time together as part of this eMigr8 Open Day. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities. That's our key focus. We focus on tech talent visas. That's what we focus on. This edition is focused on the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. And we put a sub-theme to say, is the Tech Nation visa gone? Our coach is already in the room. Our coach today is a member of eMigr8 community, super proud of him. And that's Fred Oyetayo. Is already in the room as well. And he's ready to also share about his own journey, about some insights he's been able to pick up in that journey and his journey to becoming a global talent. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. That's what we focus on within the eMigr8 platform and also within eMigr8 community. Just to give you an insight of what we'll be covering today. Today, we will start by just giving you a bit of an intro around what eMigr8 is and also what eMigr8 is not. We'll then drill down to our coaches session where the coach will be spending some time just sharing with you some of the things and thoughts he's prepared for the community. He's a member of the community. He was telling me the other day that, he was on the other side of this community at some point, but now he's a coach in the community as well. So it's really exciting for us to have him on the platform. Also, we will be giving some major updates around the Tech Nation visa. There are a number of major updates that we believe you should know as a member of our community as regards the Tech Nation visa. Yes, as at this moment, it is still called Tech Nation visa. And we have some updates on that we'll be sharing with you. We've got a package called the Move to the UK as an Innovator Founder. Move to the UK as an innovator founder. We will share a bit of information around that. And as I said before, if you wait till the end of this session, we have a special gift for you. And so let's get right into it. eMigr8, we've done a number of open days in the past. And because of that, we have many videos that are available for you to replay. Many of the coaches, many of our guests on the platform, they've spoken about different visa opportunities. They've spoken about different visa opportunities from the UK Global Talent Visa that we'll focus on today, to the Australian Global Talent Visa, to the US Global Talent Visa, also called the visa for individuals with extraordinary ability. There is the Canada Startup Visa. There's the UK Startup Visa, which is now called the UK Innovator Founder Visa. And there are several visa pathways that we've discussed in the eMigr8 community. And many of these are recorded. Many of these are available free of charge within the eMigr8 community. It's available to you as long as you're a member of the eMigr8 community. Today's session will focus on UK Global Talent Visa, and our coach is in the room, Fred Oyetayo, who will be taking us through the journey about his own journey to becoming a global talent. Coming soon in the eMigr8 community, we have a number of editions that are coming soon. We will be focusing on the UK Innovator Founder Visa route. We have an open day being prepared for that route. We'll be focusing on move to the US as a global talent, focusing on the O1, EB1, and EB2 visas. We have an open day coming up that will focus on that. We have an open day that will focus on the Canada Startup Visa. We have an open day that will focus on the French Tech Visa and some of the European Startup Visa and European Blue Card Visa. Some of them we would also be focusing on in eMigr8 Open Day, and also because we focus on them in the eMigr8 platform. eMigr8 is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. eMigr8 is incubated at this moment by Bincom Dev Center. We believe it will become its own platform, standing in its own as its own startup, but at this moment is incubated by Bincom Dev Center. Let me tell you a little bit about what eMigr8 is, and maybe what eMigr8 is not as well. Because at eMigr8, we believe that the visa, which you may be in the room or watching the video, you may be focused on the visa, but we believe that the visas themselves are a side effect of something bigger. We believe that if you are globally attractive, you will have options. You have options of staying in your home economy and contribute globally to the global economy. You can decide to work locally in your home economy. You can decide to work remotely from your home economy, but then you can decide also to move to a different economy, just different jurisdiction with your skill, with your talent, with your innovation. And that is the reason why many of these visa opportunities exist. The countries that have these tech-enabled visas are not doing you a favor. They understand that talent is the new oil. They understand that if they are able to attract you as a globally attractive professional, whether it's because of your tech skill, whether it's because of your tech startup, whether it's because of your business, they understand that if they are able to attract you and ask you to move to their economy with your family, they will benefit in the nets. Why? Because you will pay taxes on high salaries. You would bring your IP, intellectual property, into the economy. You will bring more employment. You will create jobs in their economy. And there are several things that you would bring as an advantage, as an expatriate, as a talent into the economy. That's the reason why many of these visa opportunities exist. Now, at eMigr8, we focus on you and we help you become globally attractive. We do that in two ways. Number one is by focusing on your tech profile, basically your tech skills and all. Those things can qualify you for visas for many parts of the world. And in some cases, it could be your tech-enabled business, your startup. That could also be your visa. And in some cases, it could also be your ticket to other jurisdictions. We're focusing today on the UK, and we're focusing today on the UK Global Talent Visa. But this holds true for many other jurisdictions as well. In France, there's the French Tech Visa. In Canada, there's the Canada Startup Visa. In the US, there's the O1 visa for individuals with extraordinary ability. There's the Blue Card Visa. Many European countries have startup visas. Australia has the Australia Global Talent Visa, and I can keep naming them. All of them have the same fundamental concepts. They want the best of the best to move to their jurisdiction. And because you're on this call, because you're watching this video, you are one of such. You can be one of such. Even if you're a beginner in the field of technology, you haven't done anything at all in technology today, you can actually build your profile. And if you already qualify, sometimes what happens is that because you qualify, sometimes we don't package ourselves well. Sometimes we don't tell our stories in the way that these people want to see for them to recognize you as globally attractive. These are the things that eMigr8 helps with. Our services covers information session, general inquiry. Our service also covers coaching and handholding. We can also help with preliminary assessment to say, where am I as of today in terms of my profile? Do I already qualify or don't I already qualify? Also, if you're looking for a roadmap to say, oh, I will do it myself, but all I need is just a bit of direction, a bit of clarity, we're able to help with that as well, around roadmap that you can use by yourself to self-direct yourself towards qualification for many of these visa types. But also, we can handhold you through this roadmap, helping you take the journey to become globally attractive. I'll use an example of the Global Talent Visa. We can help with your application review, for example, to say, I need somebody to check my application before I submit. We can help with endorsement review to say, oh, I submitted my application. I thought I did a good application, but then they rejected me. Why did they reject me? Do you have some insight into this? And many of these things are what we can help with from an eMigr8 perspective. And we do a lot of things for free. eMigr8 runs a freemium model. A freemium model means that we do a lot of things for free. And yes, if you need a little bit of extra, we do charge a premium as well. And this brings me to this slide, just talking about some of the things that you can do with eMigr8 and our services. Don't forget, our guest and our coach for today is not a guest really, because he's a member of the community himself, is in the room and is going to be sharing a lot of insights around the UK Global Talent Visa. Some of our services include, on the free side, is the information and inspiration, because we realize that a number of people, what they need is that initial inertia, that getting rid of that challenge of, is it me that they are looking for? Sometimes when people hear the word global talent, they are thinking, oh, because I've not won the Nobel Prize, I'm not a global talent. And it's not true. Because if you are contributing to your own economy, because if you are building stuff, because even if your startup failed, the fact that you have done it before, the truth is that many of the people we see today, startup founders and so on, they've done a number of things that failed and then the next one succeeded. The world understands this. The world understands that, oh, you might try 10 times and only succeed one. They don't mind, because that one that succeeds can be the next $1 billion. That one that succeeds can be the next idea that is needed. And you are one of those people. But we've got the eMigr8 community as well. We've got it on many social media platforms, WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on. It's also free. We encourage you to share. We encourage you to ask questions. There are a number of people who are like-minded, who are thinking along the same line. And a number of coaches as well are on the platform, happy to answer your questions. We've got the monthly open day, some of it focusing on different visa type. Today, we will focus on the Global Talent Visa. We've got introductory videos. We've got open consultation sessions. These are public sessions. They are recorded, but they are very useful. But we've got visa-specific office hours as well, which is a smaller subset in terms of sessions, not recorded. You can ask questions. It's also not a private session. However, it's not recorded and you can ask questions that you do need in those visa-specific office hours. These are free. We also offer free private consultation or private coaching session. For now, it's limited to just one short inquiry session per person, usually about 10 minutes. It's limited, but I did say that we have a gift for you if you wait till the end, and I'll tell you about that if you wait till the end. We've also got, on the premium side, we have a number of items, including the eMigr8 Circle, which is a premium community. We've got personalized coaching, and we have a number of packages that may be useful for you depending on the journey that you are taking. If you're interested in any of these, you might just go to beamcom.net/emigrate. eMigr8 is spelled EMIGR and then the number 8. beamcom.net/emigrate. And you can just fill that form and then you can take it to the next level. Once you fill that form, you will get a mail with a barrage of a number of our free resources, free videos, a number of understanding sessions, and several other things along those lines. You can start from there. And then if you need something a little bit extra, you can also look for that as well. We've got packages at eMigr8 as well. We've got packages around move to the UK as a global talent, packages around move to the US as a global talent, focused on the O1 visa, move to the UK as an innovator founder, and several other packages as well. We've also got packages focused on the work-related visas. So if you're interested in looking at the skilled worker visa, particularly for the UK, we've got a package that is available for you. And these packages are coaches being able to handhold you, mentor you, coach you, give you direction, share their experience, and be able to take you from where you are, your home country, to qualify for these visas and to be able to apply successfully for these visa opportunities. I must say that eMigr8 does not offer immigration advice, non-legal advice. eMigr8, what we focus on is sharing experiences and handholding people based on those experiences. So we do partner with lawyers, we do partner with immigration consultants, but the platform itself is not offering legal nor immigration advice. Please bear that in mind. eMigr8 community, these are some of the links of some of the communities, and you can go into those communities. I will speak about some of our services in Beamcom Dev Center. As I mentioned, eMigr8 is incubated by Beamcom Dev Center, and we've got the Global Tech Program. If you're a beginner in the field of technology and you're wondering, where's my entry point into the field of technology, we recommend this program. You can find it at beamcom.net/globaltech. It focuses on 3 key pillars. You're able to learn skills, you're able to gain experience, and then gain exposure in the field of technology. And the reason why this is important is because you don't want to learn skills and then you have no experience. You don't have a place in the global economy, I'm sorry to say, until you then gain experience and also gain exposure. Now, if you're at the intermediate level, have learned the skills, but I'm looking for where I can build my experience and exposure, you probably already understand what I'm talking about. This program is also recommended for you because you can start at an intermediate level and you can be building your portfolio, you can be building your experience of you becoming globally attractive. We also have the opportunity for you to learn tech now and pay later. This is one of those packages. It's a 1 to 2 year program, the Global Tech Program. However, we have subset of those programs for 3 months that you can also decide that, oh, I want to focus 3 months and then I want to focus on specific aspects of one stage to the other. That is also available, and that's what on the screen. Same link, beamcom.net/globaltech. We've got the mentoring platform. For the experts in the room, I was speaking to beginners and intermediate a few moments ago, but for the experts in the room, we've got the Beamcom mentoring platform. And we ask that join the platform as a mentor. One of the things you will find out during this session is the fact that mentoring is one of the ways you can show yourself as globally attractive. And we offer such a structured mentoring platform at Beamcom, and we are asking for mentors to come on board because we have a number of beginners, we have a number of intermediate people who are looking for your skills, who are looking for your time, be it 15, 20 minutes a week or thereabout, or 1 hour a month and so on, for you to guide them to the next level. So we're calling for you as experts in the room to join as a mentor, and you can join as a mentor, and that helps your evidence of whether or not you are globally attractive. We have Labs by Beamcom. Labs by Beamcom helps you to build a product-led digital technology company with a team. It's a 3 to 6 months program. It's a pre-incubator program, 3 to 6 months. But what that program does is that you are able to start having practical learning experience and to start building a startup with that team of 3 to 10 people. It's good for your portfolio. It helps you improve your skill, And also you can get references from Bincom and all based on the work that you did on these labs by Bincom. So it's a fantastic program. We recommend it. You can find more details at bincom.net/labs. And we've got a number of testimony. The last service I'll speak about before we jump to something else, and then we will be inviting our guests to come on, would be the Tech Career Coaching Service. And with Tech Career Coaching, we'll focus currently on the UK, but the Tech Career Coaching Service helps you to land your next role faster. We help you build the relevant experience in your target country. We help you with connection with technical recruiters. We help you with the coaching and mentoring and reviews and so on that you need. And we help you land jobs that comes with certificate of sponsorship, work visa sponsorship, particularly in the UK. It's all a part of us helping you to become globally attractive. Bincom Dev Center itself is a talent development platform, and we help you become globally attractive using many of these services that I have mentioned so far. For many of us in the room, you may want to just take a screenshot of this page, because this page talks about a number of tech-enabled visa opportunities that exist as of today. This is not an exhaustive list of visas. It is not. This is just a subset to give you an idea of the lay of the land, because there are several of them. There are hundreds of them that we are tracking as of today in the eMigr8 community and in eMigr8 platform, right? And you would notice, like the UK, that the UK has combined two visas together to form the UK Innovator Founder Route, which launched on April 13, 2023. And so these are number of visas, and this is also not exhaustive list of tech-enabled visa opportunities as well. There's a lowest common denominator across all these visa opportunities. Be globally attractive. Whether you're in your home economy, or you're in a different economy, or you are passing through a different economy. Some of the members of the community do that, right? The key thing is be globally attractive, because when you are globally attractive, you have options. You are not begging them for visas. They are begging you to come to their economy. And that's what we want you to be as a member of eMigr8 community. This means a lot of things to different people, and our coach today will be breaking this down a bit further. We'll just say that for us at eMigr8, the visa opportunity we focus on are usually opportunities that has a pathway to settlement in your new economy, in the destination economy. You are able to move with your family. So if you have a partner, you've got children, you're able to move with your family. We focus on tech-enabled opportunities. For now, eMigr8 is only focused on tech talent visas, tech-enabled opportunities where it's around people in tech. We're a tech platform at this moment. And we focus on opportunities where beginners can plan. So yes, you may say, I'm a beginner, I do not yet qualify as at now for this visa opportunity, but you can qualify in 6 months. You can qualify in 1 year. You can qualify in 2 years. Are you doing the right things for you to qualify in 2 years as at today? Those are the reasons why we focus on the open day. Those are the reasons why we focus on bringing coaches to share their own journey, to share insight, and then you should have your own roadmap. Whether we help you build the roadmap, whether you build it yourself, you can work with the roadmap. And we drill down in depth into a number of these visa opportunities in eMigr8 open days that we do monthly to focus on different tech-enabled visa opportunities. So the summary is this, as I bring our coach up onto the platform. The summary is very simple. eMigr8 is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. eMigr8 is here to help, and eMigr8 can help you take the next step towards you becoming globally attractive. With that being said, I would now hand over to our coach, who is going to take us to the next level in this session today. Fred is in the room. Fred is a member of eMigr8 community, as I mentioned, and I'm sure he's going to share a bit of his journey with us during this session. And he will be sharing also around a number of tips and tricks and so on around the global talent visa. Please don't forget, if you have questions, and I'm sure you would have many questions, please drop them in the chat. Drop your questions in the chat and we'll get to as many questions as possible. We also know a number of people ask questions when they register for the session. We've compiled some of those questions as well. So with that being said, over to you, Fred.
Hi, buddy. Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Fred.
Thank you for the introduction. So I'll just be talking mostly about my experience getting into tech and also applying for the technician visa, and also try to give as much tips and tricks as possible to help those who are currently in the process and also those who are looking into applying for the Global Talent visa later in future. So once again, my name is Fred, and a software engineer and also a technical products manager. My background in tech started quite a long time ago. I would say from my primary school, when I was really just in love with using computers and also trying to play games on computers and all. So when I had the opportunity of getting the first desktop at home, all I just wanted to do at that particular point was just, oh, let me learn how to actually use this computer, play games. There were a lot of games that was being played back then. And that got me accustomed to using the computer without necessarily going to any school to learn at that particular point in time. So that was like basically the beginning of my journey into tech. The next phase of that was getting access to the internet, because initially there was no access to the internet. So all I could just do was Microsoft Word, different Microsoft packages, Adobe packages, and probably try to do one or two things then. When I had access to the internet, that opened a bigger opportunity for me to learn more. So that was how I started exploring how could I actually even build a website? How can I do this kind of designs? How can I also design and put it out there? I was seeing several websites back then. I'm talking as far back as 2003, 2004. So which is almost 20 years ago now. How were people designing this kind of websites, which got me interested, and I started making some research. My first endeavor was using Paint to learn how to design back then. And I believe around 2007, I started using Dreamweaver and the rest to design websites, and also learned HTML, CSS, by the way, and also PHP. So that was basically the foundation, designing, trying as much as possible to develop websites, which looking back were not really that impressive anymore, but at least it was a starting point for me to learn mostly on my own, and also learn how to design and also create videos and also share them. So I was sharing them with some of my friends, and they were giving me feedbacks. Just two friends had access to computer back then, so they were just giving me feedback as to, oh, we like this, you can improve on this, you can do more about this, and the rest. So going forward, when I got into university, I was really interested mostly in computer science, but I studied law, which is kind of weird because most of my friends back then were always like, oh, why did you even study law when you are this good designing and also developing websites and all the stuff? But I had issues with chemistry, because I know a lot of people might probably be on the same table with me. You are in love with technology, but you don't really know how to go about it. You probably don't want to go through the science route. And I have good news. You don't necessarily need to study computer science. You don't necessarily need to even study anything science before you can be great in tech, or before you can get into tech at the end of the day. So when I got into university, I continued on the same path, designing websites mostly for the university itself, and also even developing, designing posters, designing videos, creating videos and the rest, which made me a bit more popular, and a lot of people started patronizing what I was actually doing, which also made me to commercialize what I was doing. So initially, almost everything I was doing was basically for free. But when I discovered that a lot of people had interest in what I was doing, and they were even willing to pay for it, I was making BlackBerry themes back then because it was very popular. A lot of people were requesting for me to make them, designing pictures for their display pictures on BlackBerry. And people were willing to pay for this because it was unique, it was distinct. And I started doing that, and I commercialized it, and I decided to register a company. Also invited a couple of other people, and we co-founded a company a technology company very early on in the university. So that was basically the foundation of also me starting a company. And I'm trying to tell this story because it's sort of like a pattern. You can always connect the dots between what you're doing at the moment and what you've also even done in the past, and find something relevant in that, in which you can use for any sort of application later in future. So down the line, after starting the company, creating an agency, and also creating different products, I started working with other people, which made me sort of like work in a team, which is also part of like gaining experience, working with a diverse set of people. So not just working on your own independently. So when I left university, I had the opportunity of applying uh, for the ASO Villa Demo Day, which was probably the only one that was held that year in 2016. And I was a finalist, and we got a grant, which allowed me to also build more on the company and also get an office space, do a lot of other stuff, and also employ more people to start a proper company and a well-structured company at the end of the day. So from that line going onwards, I was also able to win a lot of more awards, work with a lot of other bigger companies, and also establish more companies, establish more products, and build more products and push into the pipeline. From then onwards, I discovered that, oh, what else can I do apart from even starting a tech company? What else can I do in tech? How can I better impact upon the community? What else can I do? I started also mentoring people in tech, on how to also get into tech. And that also created a pathway, which I will later get onto, on how to connect the dots based on what you're currently doing at the moment, and how it can also help you, and also in your later endeavors. So from then onwards, I won a lot of more awards, built more companies, added more products into the pipeline for the company, and also did a lot of several other things that I'm not sure I can go deep down into details for now. So basically, that is my journey into tech, how I got into tech. I've been in tech ever since. So my journey did not just start now. It started close to more than 20 years ago now, from just falling in love with computers and learning how the computer works and what I could actually also do into with computers. So how did I find out about the Global Talent Visa or the Technician Visa? So I actually found out about the Global Talent Visa more than a year before I applied. I just came across it, and then I read through the requirements that was needed, and it was kind of very overwhelming. I was like, oh, all these requirements just to get a visa, this is actually too much. I'm not sure I can dedicate enough time and resources into this. And I even felt at some point that I was not even qualified to apply for this visa. But a lot of things happened in 2020, most especially with the NSAS, and everyone had a rethink. So when I looked at the form again, I was like, no, no, no. When I looked at the technician website again, I was like, no, I think I can actually give this a try. And I started doing a lot of research. That was when I also came across the eMigr8 platform, which I'm very proud to be a member of. I started reading up more about what kind of evidences that were needed, how can I actually apply for this visa and get it? Because trust me, if you read through the requirements, it's actually very overwhelming. You believe, or you think that you actually don't have enough evidences to pass through that stage one of the visa process itself. So after doing a lot of research, I identified my weakness and also my strengths, and evidences that I could also apply with. So going back and connecting the dots, like I mentioned earlier, almost all the evidences that I used at the end of the day were tied back to me, not even necessarily doing most of my proper work. So they were mostly tied to mentorship, mostly tied to speaking engagement, mostly tied to awards that I've been given. And also some of the other evidences were tied towards me actually co-founding the company, and also providing evidences for your repository, and also your earnings, and several other types of evidences at the end of the day. The very first conversation I had with Badi was telling me that I should try as much as possible to look for as many evidences as possible. and I should apply with them. Try as much as possible to look into what I've done in the past. So it's very possible that you are probably on this call and you feel that you don't have as many evidences as you want or you want to apply with. But trust me, you just need to look through, search through your emails, look through your documents. After one of those calls I had with Bade, I had to actually go back and started looking through my emails that, oh, that was when I found out that, oh, I actually spoke in this university in 2019. Oh, I spoke in this event in 2018. Oh, I've actually done this. I've actually done that. So from just that conversation alone and looking back, I was able to find additional like 8 or 9 more evidences. And even after I informed Bade that, oh, I've actually even done this, he told me that can still do more. Go and check, go and find out more. And true to what he said, I actually found more evidences that I could also actually use. So if you're on this call, all you just need to also do is look inwards. I'm sure if you are a software engineer, you've probably founded a company before. There are probably evidences that you can find that you can also use to apply for the visa. So just going over some of the things that I use to apply. One of them is my GitHub page. So I know I did a screenshot of that. So if you are probably a more technical applicant, you're a software engineer, or probably even if you're a UI designer, you can use your Figma portfolio. If you are maybe a data analyst, you can probably use your SQL queries or maybe your Workbench and probably do some sort of screenshots around that. If you received awards in the past, so I was opportunity to have received several awards in the past based on some of the things I've done in the past. So you can also use some of that. Also, some of the other evidences I also used included my earnings. So comparing that on Glassdoor, for instance, with what some other people are earning, I was also able to use that. Also, mentorship and also a lot of speaking engagements that I've actually spoken in, most especially around Nigeria. I was also able to use that as evidences to apply for the Global Talent Visa. Also, regarding tips and tricks that can help whoever is applying for a Global Talent Visa, you have to put yourself out as much as possible. I believe is very, very important. The technician visa or the Global Talent Visa is the kind of visa that you need to actually explicitly state out that, oh, I've been able to achieve this. These were some of the reasons why I'm eligible for this particular visa. So you don't need to say, oh, I'm a low-key person, or probably I don't like putting myself out there. You actually need to put yourself out there before you can be eligible for this kind of visa. They need to know that if you are an exceptional talent, for instance, they need to know that you're actually an exceptional talent. And you need to put out evidences to support those statements that you are making. So for whatever you say, if you say, oh, I'm a software engineer, you need to actually back up that particular statement with the fact that you're a software engineer. If you've spoken at any event or probably you've granted any media interview in the past, a screenshot of that we do, for instance, or probably a link even to the YouTube or probably any source on the internet, we also do. If you are part of a mentorship program also in which you also mentor a lot of people, like the one of the eMigr8 solution, you can actually also use that as a screenshot and also add it as part of your evidence. Also, one thing I will also say is prepare well before you apply. So I know for the past 2-3 weeks now, a lot of people have actually been sending me messages and telling me that, oh, they applied for the visa and then they did not get it, they were rejected, this one happened, that one happened. And one thing I've also discovered is a lot of people rushed to apply because of the technician office closing down, in quotes, because they are actually not closing down. The visa process is still very ongoing, but the company itself, uh, some part of the company closed down. So a lot of people actually rushed into applying for the visa because of that very particular news and statement that was put out. So one thing I will advise a lot of people is try as much as possible to calm down, analyze whatever you're submitting. Don't be in a rush. The money might be small to apply. I really don't know, but be very, very careful when you're applying. Try as much as possible to have a second look, join the eMigr8 platform, subscribe to one of the features, one of the products that is available, pay for it. It's better for you to have someone else to look at your application and pass rather than just look at it yourself and think you are trying to save some money. And at the end of the day, you are going to fail or probably waste the money you've invested into applying in the first instance. So try as much as possible, dedicate a lot of time. When I was applying for mine, I think I applied April and I started preparing like December. So I gave myself around 4 or 5 months to prepare all the evidences and also try to even contact people to write recommendation letters for me. So trying to contact most of them because they are very senior people in tech, very, very busy. Most of them did not even get back to me until after 1 month, 2 months. So also be very careful of people that are going to also recommend you. Ensure the kind of recommendations they are providing for you closely aligns with whatever you're applying for. So don't let them give you a letter of recommendation that does not even follow or does not depict entirely what you are trying to portray yourself as. So I will advise, the best advice I can give anyone is don't rush into applying for the Global Talent Visa. Try as much as possible to dedicate your time. It's just as if you are applying for a job or probably as if you are applying for a grant or something big. So think of it that way. Don't try to waste your time and money. Prepare adequately well before applying and then join the eMigr8 platform as well. Try as much as possible to get advice from people like Bade who have experience and who are also ambassadors of the technician program itself. So I think all in all, that encompasses my story, how I got into tech and also how I applied for the technician visa. Speaking to whoever is on this call, if you're a beginner, you can trace back, you can get into tech. Trust me, you don't need to study computer science. Gone are the days when you need to probably have studied computer science or computer engineering before you can get into tech. Anyone can get into tech. I studied law personally, and I'm qualified to practice law in Nigeria, and I'm into tech. I've been in tech for more than 10, 12 years as a professional now. So don't, because of your course, think that you can you can't be in tech and you can't get the technician visa. That would be absolutely wrong. Also, for anyone that is currently in the UK, looking at probably changing your visa from maybe a skilled worker visa or a tier 4 visa to a tier 1 visa like global talent visa, all you just need to do is also to try as much as possible to prepare well, structure, create a route, give yourself time and space into getting into tech. All these things, they actually take time. So you can't just start today and think that, oh, in 6 months, I'm eligible for the global talent visa. It's possible you can apply and you get it, but that will probably be 1 in a million. So you also need to prepare well, try as much as possible to gather all your evidences. And if you don't have any evidence as of now, and you are looking at applying for the global talent visa, you can also build upon what you currently have. Try as much as possible to contact people that you want to speak in their events. Um, I can't really speak in that line because I've actually never contacted anyone. They've always contacted me to speak in events, but I know it's very, very possible for you to actually contact event organizers, tell them that you have something very good to speak about, and definitely they can also consider you and allow you to probably speak at an event, which I believe is very important before you apply for the technician visa. Also, try as much as possible to put yourself more out there. Try to grant press interviews if it's possible. Try to also build upon what you currently have. So if you don't have a portfolio of your work, try to build upon the portfolio. If you are a software engineer, try to push your content out more. If you are a UI designer, try to create a portfolio that people can see. And also probably if you are more of a business applicant, a product manager, you are a product specialist or probably a product consultant or maybe a CEO or a co-founder of a company also, try to document your stories. Try to get people to also recommend you. Try to build relationships that can help you when you're applying for the visa. And whenever you're ready to apply, try to also get in touch with the eMigr8 platform. They've been of great help to several people. And here is me also recommending anyone that is looking at applying for the global talent visa to join the eMigr8 platform. Very fantastic bunch of people who are always ready and available to help you and also advise you, look into whatever application you have, and also even critique it for you to tell you whether or not whatever you're applying for at this moment, or whatever evidence you have at the moment is great, or probably you need to work more on what you currently have, and also be very truthful. I know a lot of people nowadays are very desperate to just, oh, I need to leave this country as soon as possible. Don't be too desperate. Try as much as possible to build a valid and also a legal portfolio, something that can stand the test of time, not something that at the end of the day they are going to query and also probably ban you from applying for subsequent visas in the future. So try to build something solid, something not too fast, not trying to go through shoddy corners, because I've heard recent news that a lot of people are going through that route. So let's all try as much as possible to be good and also portray the technology industry in Nigeria in a very positive light. So I'll generally be ending on that. I know there might probably be questions. I will just leave it to Badi to probably point me in that line. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Badi, for
Thank
inviting.
you so much, Fred. And yes, there are going to be lots and lots and lots of questions. I'm pretty sure of that. We're already seeing some in the chat already. And as I mentioned, we have a number of questions from the eMigr8 community as well. Right. But I think we should start, and just to say to the audience that there's a lot more still coming during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We will be talking briefly about the Innovator Founder Visa. This Open Day is not focused on that visa type. It's focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. But the UK also launched a new visa called the UK Innovator Founder Visa Route. We will speak a little bit about it during this session, but we do have a full open day that has focused on that session. And we ask that you also take a look in the community for you to watch that video. It was 1.5 hours packed with information focused on that specific visa route. Also, coming up, we'll have some free resources available if you are applying for the UK Global Talent Visa. There are a number of free resources that we'll be sharing during this session. That is coming. And I did say that if you wait till the end of this session, there's a special gift for you as well for watching this video till the end or waiting till the end of the live session if you're in the room at the moment. So, Fred, I think we should start from, you are a lawyer, you are a product manager, you are also a developer, and several other things that you've done. You are also a startup founder. Fred, are you there? Yeah, you're also a startup founder. And which profile did you apply with the Technation visa? Was it as a business person, as a technical person? What profile did you apply with exactly? Because you seem to be multi-talented, have many skills and many experiences. So which profile were you applying with for this visa?
Well, just to be on the safer side, I applied as a technical applicant. So I also, as part of some of the things I submitted, screenshot of my GitHub account, also some of my deployments, and also the repository and some personal repositories that I have on GitHub as well. So I applied more as a technical applicant for the Global Talent Visa. I was trying to err on the side of caution.
Could you speak more about that? What do you mean by erring on the side of caution? It may be useful for people in the room. I know we spoke about it during our private sessions and all, but could you speak from your own perspective? What do you mean by erring on the side of caution?
Yeah, so when I was applying, I was looking at it more of what I've done than more of what I could actually showcase. So I was looking at it, what parts do I actually have more evidences for? Is it as a business applicant or as a technical applicant? Because I'm both the two. So mostly I applied as on the form. When you're filling the form, I applied as a technical applicant and also submitted other evidences to support that. But also the business side of it, I had to also attach the fact that I'm a co-founder of a company, attached the certificate of incorporation with my name, and also other shareholding documents with my name attached with the evidences as well. So in that line, almost all the documents that I had and also speaking engagement that I had, they reference me more as a software developer. So it made more sense in that way than to apply as a software developer, as a technical applicant.
Yeah, and would you advise? I mean, there are a few people in the community that are similar profile they run a business, they've done the technology, because in many of our home countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and so on, we do many different things, right? So we're a project manager, we're a product manager, we're UI, we're UX, we're a software tester, we're QA, and everything like that. Would you advise someone that does all of those skills to put all of their skills at once, or what would you advise? And we would say to the community again, this is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice. This is us sharing experiences. What would you advise somebody like that in the room?
Someone in my, someone probably at my seat wears many hats. So if you started if co-founded a startup before, you probably work in a startup, it's very, very possible that you've done a whole lot of things that they are not probably part of your job description or does not even have a job title. So I will advise that you should, as much as possible, try to use all the evidences that you have to back up all your claims. So if you are trying to tilt more as a technical applicant, meaning maybe you're a co-founder and a CTO, definitely most of what you are going to use as your evidence has to tilt towards the fact that, I'm a technical applicant. These are some of the things that I've done to assist the company into where the company currently is. I lead the technology stack. Oh, I lead the technology stack. What have you done? So you can't just say that, oh, I'm the CTO without actually backing up your statement. You actually have to adduce some evidence to that regard that, oh, this is my GitHub page. These are evidences of me pushing codes to the repository. These are evidences of me even deploying maybe on AWS or on Azure or something. So you have to back up all that statement. And definitely, if you're also a co-founder, if you have access, maybe a part of the shareholders, you can also use that to support your claim that you're also a co-founder of the company. So try as much as possible to bring out all your evidences, attach them that are relevant to whatever you're applying for. So at the end of the day, if it's too much, definitely you just remove, you prioritize based on the one you feel weighs more, and then you reduce based on the ones that are probably not very vital to what you're applying for. So try as much as possible to find as many evidences as possible that are tilted towards what you're applying for and your job title in question.
Fantastic. And I'll also say that be careful not to be the jack of all trade, master of none, because all of a sudden you will not be globally attractive in that sense, right? So, but you can say that I'm an expert in X, but in addition to being an expert in X, I did also, and I've also done this. That's a different story than, oh, 2/10 in skill 1, 2/10 in skill 2, 2/10 in skill 3, and all. Be careful how you present yourself, particularly for the UK Global Talent Visa route. Before we drill down into your application itself in terms of what categories did you apply with, I just thought to ask around transitioning from, law, studying on your own, transitioning from law. You mentioned that during your presentation. How was that for you, really? I know you mentioned around having friends around you that were able to help. We run a talent development program, so that's the reason why I'm asking. How easy was it for you to learn on your own and build everything that you've been able to build to transition yourself to tech?
I would say not very easy. But looking back, one thing I can do definitely is to appreciate days of little beginnings and learning, despite the fact that, I could not get people to really critique what I was doing. So I just had few friends who were willing to look into what I was developing or probably designing back then. So I would not say I transitioned into tech. I would say I've always been in tech, but my learning process, trying to get people to look into what I was doing was kind of like mostly on my own, and also having to rely on mostly ebooks. So compared to now that there are a lot of contents on the internet, you can watch different YouTube videos. There are a lot of contents that you can easily consume nowadays. Back then, I had to rely mostly on ebooks to even learn how to write HTML, CSS, PHP, Python back then. So, but anyone trying to transition now, there's a whole lot of community all around. There's a whole lot of content that you can consume. There are people to ask questions. Now I think there was even a rank then, but I was not aware. there are a lot of other places where you can definitely try to get more information, rely on more information, and people to even collaborate with as of now. So anyone that is trying to transition as of this moment, you have a lot of opportunities, you have a lot of content that you can consume, and even people to generally ask questions from. And eMigr8 also has a platform like that that will also assist and help you in what you are doing as well.
Thank you for that. Let's drill into your application for the UK Global Talent. For those in the room that may be finding out about this visa for the first time, for the UK Global Talent visa, there are two types of the visa. There's exceptional promise and there's exceptional talent. Exceptional promise is for those who are promising in the field of technology. You generally need to have less than 5 years of experience to qualify as exceptional promise. There's exceptional talent for typically people with over 5 years of experience who are leaders already in their own economy, usually in the field of technology as well. Now, for each one of those, you have 5 categories. One is mandatory. You need to show that you're a leading talent. And there are 4 optional criteria. OC1, for one of them is innovation. Another is recognition. Then there's significant contribution or impact. And then the third one is about academic excellence. So, Fred, I was just going to ask, what categories did you apply with? So mandatory was leading talent, but what were the other categories that you applied with?
Yes, applied for the mandatory, definitely, which is very compulsory, and then I believe OC1 and OC3. If I can still recollect, I'll try to confirm that. But I know I applied for the mandatory and provided as many evidences as possible. And then OC1, I'm sure of OC1, and I believe it should be OC3. Although I'll confirm that now to look through what I submitted.
All right, fantastic. And I was going to drill down into that as well, because we find with the community, particularly for members that are trying to apply, putting together their document, understanding what others submitted is typically useful for them as well. Did you submit category by category, or did you just submit all documents at the same time? And then I wanted to ask, for the leading talent criteria, what documents did you submit? We are on a recorded session, so I mean, don't say anything that you don't want on the internet. But then what were some of the documents you submitted with in the leading in the first criteria, which is the mandatory criteria?
So for the mandatory criteria, because I applied as an exceptional talent, so I actually supplied, I believe, all in all, I think I submitted almost 65 evidences. So I try as much as possible to compact them all together. So for the mandatory criteria, because I've been on the Forbes list, so I added that. I've received several other awards. So I tried as much as possible to showcase all that for the mandatory criteria. So I submitted, I believe, 6 or 7 awards that I've received, and also some press mentions, also interviews from Arise TV, from channels, from Pulse Media, and also some of the other nominations I've also received. So most of what I submitted for the mandatory criteria were actually awards. So mostly awards, just to show that I have experience, number one. Also number two, to show that I'm a leading talent in Nigeria. And number three, to show that I'm also an exceptional talent that is suitable for this particular award, just to show that I'm the kind of candidate that they need for the particular award. So all the evidences I submitted were focused mostly on that. So press mentions, awards, and also media interviews. Also for the OC1, optional criteria 1, I submitted evidences.
Innovation, I believe. That's the one of proof of innovation?
Yes, so proof of innovation. So I submitted evidences to show that I've co-founded the company, and also that the company has even won awards, participated in different accelerator programs, and also that the company is a well-funded company. So some of the things I remember that I attached included like screenshots of the landing page of the website, screenshot of the admin panel, in-house admin panel, to show that people are actually using the app So we have like an in-house admin panel to monitor usage of the app. So to show how many people are current users, how many activities, to show also their log and what they are doing. So I just attached a screenshot of that, and also I made mention of some of the explaining what was in the screenshot as well. I also attached like a key metric, which was the our new users per month. So we had like a screenshot of that. I also attached that. Also, CS incorporation documents, most especially to show that I was a shareholder in the company, and also financial statements for the company. And also, because financial statements are in error, I had to also put the equivalent in GBP. And so mostly that revolves around most of what I submitted for OC1. And for OC1, because I founded 3 companies, so I had to attach for the 3 different companies. So I used for mandatory criteria 1, I used 3 different documents for mandatory for OC1. I also used, I believe I used 4 for OC1 and then 3 for OC3.
Okay. And OC3 would be a significant contribution, correct? So you went for, would that be
So
significant?
OC2, rather, sorry.
OC2, so recognition would be the
Yeah.
second one. So
Yeah.
innovation and recognition. So you supply proof of innovation and you also supply proof of recognition. So as you're already drilling down, what were some of the things you submitted for proof of recognition?
So for recognition, I've had a lot of media engagements, and I've also spoken at the TED event. So I ensure that I use the TED events as number one, because TED is globally recognized, and because it was more of even a kind of tech, I spoke mostly to a tech audience. So I used that. Also, I included the letter that invited me to speak at the tech program. I used a screenshot of I used a picture of me speaking at the TED program. I also included the link to the TED website, and also a screenshot of the event poster. I also added that. Several other speaking engagements, like the Tech Lounge event. I added that. An interview with Channels TV to speak about tech in Nigeria. I added that. Also, another evidence to show, I spoke at several law tech events, most especially in Nigeria and also out of the country in Netherlands. So I included all the speaking engagements, the letter of invitation, the link. So most of these speaking engagements, one of the advantages I had was that most of them were actually online. So one thing I also did was to include the link to the YouTube video as well, so that in case they are looking at it, they can also, as well as, oh, let us even click on this link and see whether what I actually added was true. So I also included all that, screenshots of me speaking at the event, screenshots of me, what's it called, the poster as well. So the poster is also very, very important. And also most of the pictures that I used showed that there were a lot of people that I was actually speaking to. So I tried to get different pictures that showed the perspective of not just only me speaking, but speaking to a very large audience, because I know one of the criteria is that you must be speaking to, I don't know whether it has changed now, but minimum of 100 people. So most of what I was trying to show them was, take for instance, I spoke at the University of Lagos and also Lagos State University. And I know I spoke to a lot of students, more than 2,000 students. So I tried to show different pictures of that as well. All the Lagos tech summits that I've also spoken at, the music tech events I've spoken at, also even Zoom webinar. So I also did this. There was one I attached. I had a screenshot of more than 600 people that were live during the webinar as well. Also, I had a screenshot of when the Yaba for Tech Meet started. So I had a screenshot of that as well. I'm just even looking through what I submitted now as well. So I actually submitted quite a lot, mostly to back up or everything that I'm saying. So if I'm saying that, oh, I spoke at University of Lagos, I'm including the invitation to speak, including the poster that is sent to me, I'm including the number, the audience, and also me speaking as well. And also, so that revolves around most of what I submitted. I'm also saying that I also submitted that a lot of newspaper mentions. So there are some newspapers like Guardian, like the This Day Live, and the rest. So I added a screenshot of that. Bella Niger. I was also nominated for Future Awards Africa Prize for Disruption. So I also added a lot of other screenshots and also the nomination letter, the pictures that were sent to me, and the rest. So for OC3, for OC2, I used 4 different documents. So that's
No.
12 pages in total.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for breaking that down. And I believe that must have been useful for somebody in the community. Somebody is asking, and I'll just remind the audience again, if you have questions, we would not be able to bring you up stage live. So ask your questions in the chat, and then we'll be able to get to as many questions as possible. We'll still have a number of things we'll cover during this session. But somebody is saying, I do not have a university degree. Do I have a chance of qualifying for this visa? What would you say to that person?
Well, trust me, I did not include any. I'm not sure I included anywhere that I studied law or anything. So because there's no request for my certificate from uni, I even have a master's degree in law. They did not request for any of that. So trust me, if you are not a graduate, that would not affect you applying for the technician visa. All what they are looking for is included in the requirements. It's included on their website. They've already detailed out most of what they require. Are you a technical applicant or are you a business applicant? Have you been able to do this? Are you can you back up all these statements that you are making, and the rest? So I'm aware, as far as I'm aware, you don't need to be a graduate before you can get the global talent visa.
Fantastic. I'll just take these 2 questions together. Somebody says, I'm interested in one of the packages, getting next opportunity in the UK. How do I start? For any one of eMigr8 services, you simply need to go to beamcom.net/eMigr8. eMigr8 is spelled EMIGR and then the number 8. It's also in the chat. Once you go there, you can fill in the form and then you'll be able to get a number of resources. You would also get the link to be able to book free sessions with one or some of our coaches. That's depending on what it is that you need at that point in time. And then if you need a little extra and you may be interested in the premium packages, that's also fine. But generally, many of our services are available for free, first of all. And so you can start from there. Somebody else also asked around the innovator founder visa, that where do I start? Same thing, just fill that form and then you'll be able to get access to free coaching sessions. You'll be able to get access to the free community and several other items. And then if you need access to more premium services, you'll be able to be directed in the right place as well. Fred, let's speak about your recommenders. So you needed to have 3 recommenders. Who were your 3? I mean, you don't have to name names, but you can just describe them. Did you think about some other people before you shortlisted to those 3? I know during our sessions, we had to talk about different perspectives and all of that, but then could you share a bit more around to the audience around your recommenders? How were they chosen? What were the kind of relationships you had with them in the first place and so on?
Yes. So initially because when I started preparing to apply for the technician visa, I had to look through my contacts to see who are the people that could actually recommend me for this visa. So I shortlisted 10. So out of the 10, I started filtering out who are the people that definitely they have this high respect, high regard, and possibly they've probably even provided recommendations before. From there, I was able to shortlist to 5. And I contacted all the 5 and they were very happy to provide recommendation letters for me. So it's now boiled down at the end of the day to what was actually included in the letter. So at the end of the day, I was able to get 3 people who from shortlisting for that 5. Who number 1, they are very senior people in the tech community, not just even in Nigeria. One of them is a well-respected individual in the world. So him just recommending me alone is enough, that I believe, from technicians' part to probably grant me the visa. and also two other senior people in the Nigerian tech community who were very, very happy to recommend me. And one thing I also tried to do was to make it two male and then one female. So trying to mix it in that line. So not just male, male, male. I don't know whether that has any negative or positive impact anyways, but I just tried to also adopt that line. And then they were able to provide me with fantastic recommendations, and the reading through what they also wrote in the recommendation letter closely ties to what I'm also applying with. So in my own what's it called? The letter as well, in my statement of purpose. So closest ties to what I was also saying there. So I would say look through your contacts, try as much as possible to ensure that whoever is providing a recommendation letter for you knows you fully well. And also before applying, then I think 2 weeks before applying, I was reading through one of the technician groups, and I saw that they actually rejected someone because he applied, and the one of the people that recommended him was not even a connection on LinkedIn, which was very flimsy to me. So people should also be very watchful of that. Whoever is recommending you, ensure that you're actually connected to them. They actually know you, and can even say they've known you for more than a year. So all the people that actually recommended me, they've known me for at least 3 years. So which was very good for me. And then I think that is also part of what technician wants. They need people whosoever is recommending you must have known you for at least a particular period in time. So not just recommending you because you're applying for the technician visa alone.
It's now even a requirement that whoever is recommending you was added in January 2023. Whoever is recommending you must have known you for more than 1 year, and they need to show working. They need to show how they've known you for that more than 1 year. It's now even a requirement. Fred, we'll come back to you. I would like you to speak more, and that will be after we run a quick presentation. I'd like you to speak more around how you built relationship with some of those people that recommended you. We would like you to speak more around your personal statement, which was really important to be able to talk about the visa as well. But just before then, I wanted to ask you a question before I go to the presentation. And the question is around eMigr8 now, to say, what was the journey like before eMigr8 or without eMigr8? And then what was the journey like with the support you got from eMigr8 community, eMigr8 platform, and all the things that were available to you? We just wanted you to just paint the picture for others in the room that may be just wondering, what would that journey have been like with, and then what would the journey have been like without eMigr8?
Well, one thing I would say is, trust me, the support I got was very, very, very important. I would say that I had all the necessary document that I needed to apply with, but I was really not just sure of how to go about it. You can have as many evidences as you can think of. You can have as many support statements. Everything might be good, might think is good, but definitely you still need someone else to have a look at it. And eMigr8 was able to provide me with that support, because I remember back, it's more than a year now, but I remember fully well how it all started, and the fact that most of what all the letters that I had, all the evidences that I had, I just lumped everything together. But after having just a 30-minute session, having the first call, I was able to understand fully well some of the perspective in which the technician people are going to look at my application. So in terms of how to properly structure, what to present first, how to itemize, even how to look for more evidences. So it's very, very important that you need a platform like eMigr8 to be by your side, to support you, to provide all the necessary advice. You definitely need it. Also, when I was looking into some of the evidences that I had, I never knew that I could actually even dig in deeper, look into my emails to know that, because one of the questions that Bade was asking that, if truly you got this award, definitely you must have spoken at several other events, or which it was true, but I never just remembered, because I'm also the kind of person that, if I have a speaking engagement, I don't even put it up on Instagram. I don't tweet about it. I just go for the event and that's all. So it was not until I started looking on my email and search for invitations. That was even when I discovered that a lot of invitations for me to speak at events that I did not even see in my mail, that I never responded to. And there were some that I actually even responded to that I attended, and I could also get evidences or screenshots and the rest from them. And I could also even send them emails that you should send me pictures from the events that I never had. So having someone else to look at it for you will provide definitely that perspective, because you're not just looking at it from your own point of view alone. That might possibly be wrong. You might probably be doing it well, but you might not be doing it the way technician wants it. So those are two different things. And I believe eMigr8's platform provides all the necessary support that is needed to assist you every step of the way, which I believe is important. So you don't just not, so you won't just waste your time and resources, but you do it well and you do it properly well. So because the best, it's always good to apply just once and then you are done with it. That's the best thing to do.
Well, thank you so much for that, Fred. Thank you for that, detailed feedback as regards eMigr8 and eMigr8 services. I'll just share a couple of slides and then we'll come back to you with more questions as well. We still have a number of questions that we have not yet covered, and I know we're running out of time on this session. So thank you for that feedback. We do appreciate that. We're still on the eMigr8 Open Day. We did mention that we had a number of free resources available if you are interested in the UK Global Talent Visa. First of all, is that bear in mind that as a member of the community, you get access to short inquiry sessions, which are free, and some of these clarity sessions may be all that you need. You can go to that URL, or you can just send a WhatsApp message or a message to any of the numbers on that screen. We do offer tech career coaching services as well, which you can also find online. We've had open day sessions around landing a tech job in the UK tech ecosystem. A number of people had the question around the Tech Nations shutdown, and we've spoken a little bit about it. We'll just mention again that, yes, the company Tech Nation may be shutting down, but to a large extent, even the brand Tech Nation may not be going anywhere. The latest information we do have is there are merger talks and brand acquisition talks going on. But for a fact, the Home Office has mentioned multiple times now to let you know that the visa route is still open. It's still something you can target. We don't know how long it will be open for, but we think that the global talent visa will always be available. The reason for that is very simple. As I said at the beginning of this session, they are not doing you a favor. They want you to come to their economy so you can build their economy. That's the reason why the visa is available. And so if you can show yourself as a global talent, and we're not asking you to fake it, you need to be a global talent. You need to be globally attractive. And then you need to also be able to package yourself to ensure that the assessors, that the UK government, that the UK VI sees you as globally attractive as well. Those are two different things. Number one is you need to be, but number two is ensure that the evidences that you have, you need to also be able to show that, that you are globally attractive. So the visa route remains open. The UK Global Talent visa route remains open. You can plan for it. You can say, oh, I'm building a roadmap over a period of time to apply, or if you already qualify, you can actually start your application process, and eMigr8 community is available and is with you to help. There are a number of updates that came out in April 2023. We'll just point the community to some of those updates, and please take a look at those updates. Some of them are important. One of them is around updates around exceptional promise, exceptional talent, and exceptional promise specifically in terms of your criteria, right? The criteria is clear and has been clear, but one of the key ones which we've spoken about during these platforms in the past is that if you have 10 years of experience, let's say in the legal profession as a lawyer, and then you switch to tech, and then you have 2 years or 3 years experience in tech, you can apply as exceptional promise. So the barrier of entry for exceptional promise is lower than exceptional talent. So they will not say you have 12 years experience. They will say you have 2 years experience in tech, and because you have 2 years experience in tech, you can apply as exceptional promise. Please bear that change in the criteria in mind. It's not really a change. It's just them making things clearer. Also, in terms of the requirements, you need to be able to submit at least 2 unique pieces of evidence per criteria. Now, this is something we've always advised members of our community to do over many months that eMigr8 has existed now, but now they've made it clearer as well. So if you are targeting leading talents, ensure you submit at least 2 documents. Usually we'll ask you to submit 3 documents for category 1, which is mandatory. Submit at least 3 documents for the next criteria. So let's say you are doing OC1 innovation. Submit 3 documents. Then if you are doing OC3, significant contribution or impact, submit 3 documents. Then you can pick 1 more document and submit it as one of any of the category. What some people do sometimes is they just lump all the evidence together. And so you show yourself as leading talent, but then you don't show yourself as qualifying under innovation or qualifying under any one of the other optional criteria. Don't forget that the requirement is 1 is compulsory, and then you need to pick 2 out of the other 4. So please bear that in mind. And then for people that are being lazy, I'll just put it that way, using ChatGPT to go and write recommendation letters and all of that. Please be careful, because these people are also not stupid themselves, right? So please and please and please be careful. And those that are buying templates and using templates to apply, you may affect not just this one application, but your ability to apply in the future. Not just for the global talent visa is one of the updates now, because before now, if you mess up, you can apply for other visa opportunities and it will be fine. Now they are saying that they can report you to the Home Office to say this person was fraudulent. Please bear that in mind. So if you are paying consultants to just fake documents for you and all of that, you are not just risking your chance for that specific visa and that specific application, you are risking your chance of going to the UK for the next 10 years. Because if you are banned, usually you'll be banned for at least 10 years. Please bear that in mind as well. These are some changes that has occurred in April 2023 on the visa guide, and you can go to the visa guide to get more details on that. Now, we talked about some free resources that we think that you should pay attention to. Number 1 is the visa guide. The visa guide will take you at least 1 hour to read, right? If you are reading it thoroughly, and we generally ask you to read it twice. First time, read it as a storybook. Second time, read it with a pen and paper to say, oh, if I already qualify, then these are all the documents I have that helps me to qualify that I can submit. If you do not already qualify, take it with a pen and paper and say, okay, fine. These are some of the things I can start doing so that I can qualify in the near future. Bear that in mind. And then the next one would be the discourse channel. There is a discourse channel that is managed by visa alumni, which means that other people who have gotten this visa in the past, it's managed by the visa alumni, and also a number of moderators. I'm also one of the contributors to that community. A number of contributors to that community are visa alumni as well. And so they are able to give their perspective as well. You can ask questions in there. It's a public forum. You can also contribute to that forum as well. Please bear in mind that that forum does exist. TechNation Visa Office also does a number of sessions to help you understand the visa, to help you ask questions directly with the people that work in the TechNation office. Look out for some of those as well. They generally tend to be useful for you to get new information. They are not able to advise you on your specific application because they have to remain impartial. But they can, at the very least, say to you that, oh, this is something that you need to be able to do. These are the things in your, these are the things that you should do in your application. These are the requirements in the visa. These are the requirements as regards the visa itself. And all those are some of the things, and that is generally useful as well. I would also mention that we do also offer a visa office hour around the TechNation visa, which is available. You can check for more information around that, and that can also be useful for you if you're applying for this particular visa opportunity. And for those of us that have already gotten endorsed, for those of us that have moved to the UK already, our eMigr8 community does not end there at you getting endorsement. We're also able to help with you moving. We've got the visa alumni community that is available. There's a Slack community that is extremely useful, and we think that you should be part of that community. Once you've gotten endorsed, you get a lot of information. We've got a document called the Welcome Party. It's a document, it's almost 40 pages or so long, that has a number of tips from you moving to the UK, preparing to move, your first month in the UK, your first day in the UK, your first year in the UK. It gives a number of tips from people that have also moved in the past, and we think that you should take a look at that. We've got the eMigr8 community that we've mentioned, and we've got a number of eMigr8 coaches as well that are always happy to help. eMigr8 coaches are always available to help. Many of our coaches give their time. They give part of their time free, but then if you need a little extra, you would need to pay for that. But then a number of coaches are available that are giving themselves free because they want to help. They want to contribute to your career. They want to contribute to your family. They want to contribute to your move and all. And so please take advantage of these opportunities that do exist. The message is that we would love to help. Also, from an eMigr8 perspective, we are also able to help with getting a visa, a work visa that comes with getting work that comes with visa sponsorship. We are able to help with that within the eMigr8 community. And so you can look out for information around that visa type. Fred, we're coming to you with a few more questions very shortly. We would also mention that, and we promised to talk about this as well. We'll mention that the UK has the UK Innovator Founder Visa Route. It's a visa route that launched on April 13, and it's a visa route that we feel like you should be paying attention to as well if you are in the field of technology. The UK launched the Innovator Visa Founder sorry, the Innovator Founder Visa Route. The UK launched the Innovator Founder Visa Route on April 13, 2023. And it's a visa route that we feel like you should be aware of as well. If you've ever considered something like this UK student visa as a pathway to move to the UK, we feel like the UK Innovator Founder Visa is a pathway that you should also explore. Even if you have no experience in the field of technology, this is a visa pathway that is going to be useful for you, and we feel like it is viable for you to explore. But if you have some experience in the field of technology, it's a fantastic pathway. And if you have startup experience, then even better for you. The Innovator Founder Visa Route asks you to be able to move to the UK if you have a company, an idea really, that is scalable, viable, and innovative. You are able to work full-time in the UK on day one if you move on this visa route, as long as you are also working on your startup. In addition to that, we no longer have the requirement of the £50,000 investment requirement of the former Innovator Visa route. That requirement is no longer there. And then it gets better. This is a far cheaper route than the UK student route. With the UK student route, you do not get a pathway to settlement immediately. You are not able to work full-time immediately. You start with 20 hours. With the UK Innovator Founder Visa route, you are able to start working full-time immediately as long as you are building that next big thing. You are building your startup as well. And so this is a visa route that we feel like you should explore. If you have any thoughts around moving to the UK, whether you already have some experience in tech, if you don't have any experience in tech, it's fine for you to start. If you have some experience in tech, even better. And if you have experience in startup, even far better as well. This is a pathway we feel like is viable for you as well to explore. And so back to you, Fred. I was asking around your personal statement. I see we've run out of time, and so I'll just take a number of questions together. I was asking about your personal statement. Do you remember what was your personal statement like? What did you speak about in your personal statement?
Okay, thank you for that question. I believe most of what I featured in my personal statement uh, told the story. So I believe that is the best perspective to go. So I kind of like tried to tell a story from how I started in tech, just the way I've put it today, how I started in tech, my journey into tech, why I decided to be in tech, and what I'm currently doing in tech at the moment, what I'm going to do when I get to the UK, some of the things that I've done in the past that are currently assisting, that are helping me in my journey, what I've been able to achieve, and why I believe I'm an exceptional talent. So I documented that, I told that as a story. In fact, I had to rewrite that more than 10, 12 times because I just kept on going over it to ensure that it is perfect and it also aligns with everything I've listed. Because one thing I'm sure the assessors will be looking at is everything you've listed out in your personal statements, is it also as part of the evidences that you've given? So if you say, oh, I've achieved so, definitely you must be able to back up the fact that you've achieved so. Or if you say this is who I am, definitely you need to back it up. So if you say you are a software engineer, for instance, and you included that in your personal statement, everything in your as part of your evidence must also point to that line as well. So I told the story, which was the perspective that I tried to go, so that anyone reading it, well, it will be clear to them and straightforward to them that, oh, this is why this person is actually an exceptional talent. So that was the perspective that I took to write
Wow.
my personal statement.
Thank you for that. Somebody is asking, experienced in product and project management, has worked with an IT startup and has a company that is into IT business consulting. What would you advise this person?
Oh, well, if you
That's
have
the
experience,
global talent visa.
if you have experience as a product manager and you've also worked in startup, I think that is a very good starting point. I know regarding business consulting, technician does not really favor uh, business applicants working in a business. Even they don't, I'm sure they don't like business consulting or anything consulting. They like digital technology. They want your evidence to come from you working in a startup or probably in a product-led digital technology company. So I'm not sure that IT business consulting part will be totally relevant. But one thing I know will definitely be relevant is the fact that you worked as a product manager in a startup. So you must be able to tell your story in that line and also be able to provide evidences adducing to what you've mentioned as being a product manager in a startup. I'm not sure you should go towards the fact that you started out or probably are in a business consulting business. So I'm not sure, except technician has changed their
No,
requirement.
they haven't. So they avoid consulting. They are more interested in tech-enabled product-led digital technology. That is what is more attractive. So what you want to do is ensure that your profile shows that you have that background in product-led digital technology, and you can possibly build the next big thing in the UK, or you can be one of the employees in a company that is building the next big thing. That is why this visa is available, and you need to show yourself from that perspective as well. Somebody was asking about resources or support available to global talent visa holders, and I believe that we've touched on that as much as possible. Restriction or limitation to work or travel while using the global talent visa. Could you speak a bit about that, Fred, in terms of the global talent visa? Why is it called the gold standard in visas, particularly in the UK right now?
Well, the global talent visa is a tier one visa, and I believe that is like the highest or the best kind of visa you can get in the UK because it allows you to live, you can work, although there's a bit of restriction to the work. So you're only limited to, you can't work for as a sports person or probably work in the medical field, but you can do anything else. You can decide that you want to be a bricklayer, or which I doubt that anyways, but you can live, you can work, you can study in the UK. So the visa basically is just as if you are in quotes, you are a resident in UK, but it's almost as far as being maybe like an indefinite leave to remain or probably even citizenship. You are not entitled to some benefits, and also you can't do maybe sports person work or the medical work, but you can do several other things. You can even vote. I'm voting at next month's election, for instance. because I'm also a Commonwealth citizen anyways, but you can do several other things. There are really no restrictions. And it's also referred to as a gold visa because you will definitely be globally acknowledged and you'll be well respected. Anywhere you go to and tell them, oh, I'm a global talent visa recipient, they will take a second look at you. And also the network around you, the community around you, once you're a member, uh, is very great. And you also get to meet like-minded people and also people who are ready and willing to assist you in your next line of career.
Yeah. Somebody's asking about transaction to say that do you need to show transactions that your company has done in a year as a founder if for transaction, and also if you're a founder of a failed startup, is it bad or is it not? Is it a red flag? Is the word this person is using?
For transaction, I will believe yes, so as to back up whatever you're saying. I'm not sure I've seen anyone that has applied without, well, I applied, let me speak from my own perspective anyway. So I applied with financial statements for the company, for instance, to back up everything that was said in my statement of purpose, for instance. So I backed everything up. I provided evidences to show total number of people that are using, take for instance, one of the products that I've built, how many of them are active, showing also the log, what are they currently doing at the moment, showing over time, one of the metrics in which we track in the company is the user engagement and also active users that we have. So providing that in a chart format, so they can also easily see and also interpret what they are saying, so as to make sense of it. So I believe is very important. And so what was the second part of the question, buddy?
The second one is about if it's a failed startup, is it a red flag? But let me just give a caveat on that one to say that you really don't need to show the financial statement, but you need to show traction of your startup somehow. So it could be users using it, it could be how much the money is making, it could be recognition, it could be awards, it could be patents, it could be intellectual property, but you have to show traction somehow for your startup, whether you are talking innovation or you are talking significant contribution. Both of them you need to show traction, but how you show that traction would differ from one category to the other. I just wanted to add that to that answer. And then the other question was around failed startup. If it's a failed startup, is that good or bad from a perspective of technician visa, and I guess other visa opportunities as well?
Well, I'm not so sure, but I want to put it in this part that definitely, even if it's a failed startup, definitely it counts as an experience. Definitely, you must have learned something in that line. And I believe, depending on how you tailor it, most especially in your statements of purpose regarding, oh, I've been able to learn, I started this from scratch, we built this, we were able to achieve this. This was what I learned and also assisted me in building another company. And this is where we are at the moment. So I believe depending on the way you're able to couch it, uh, working or before that you started something and it failed does not necessarily mean that you keep failing. It's just like an experience. You've been able to gain that experience and it to definitely help you down the line, one way or the other. It's going to help you. That one, I'm so sure. So you need to well document that. And I believe you should not even omit it because definitely if you start leaving gaps, they will start asking questions. That's what were you doing in this particular duration of time? And that might probably lead them to start finding things that we were not probably meant to find in the first instance. So I believe you can always add that from my own perspective anyways.
And I will just add my perspective that it's actually a good signal, not a bad signal. Investors, for example, would look at you if you've run a startup before because you come with experience. Whether or not your startup failed is not a question. The reason for that is because globally, the percentage of successful startup is 10% within the first, I think it's 2 years or so. I don't know the statistics specifically. I can't remember. But if you go check it, you will find that there will be many failed startups. But the UK wants you to come if you have that experience because the chances of you being successful next time is higher. The chances of you being successful the third time is even much higher, right? Because you will have learned lessons and they want you to come with all of those things to say, oh, you have learned your lesson, right? And but this is one of now the difference between the UK Global Talent Visa and the UK Innovator Founder Visa. With the UK Global Talent Visa, there is no the requirement for you to get ILR, which is the permanent residency in the UK, is very low. You simply need to show that you have earned 1 cent, 1 pence in the UK in the field of digital technology. A few other requirements, but that's it. But then with the UK Innovator Founder, one of the requirements is that your startup must be successful. There are ways around that. There are things you can do. There's a whole pathway to that, which is why it's a viable pathway. But then that's the one of the differences as well. To say they've put it in such a way that if your startup is not successful, you don't get permanent residency with the UK Innovator Founder route. But with the UK Global Talent, whether you're a startup founder, whether you're a tech leader, whether you are just applying with your tech skill, you will be able to get permanent residency as long as you're working in the industry. So it's not a bad visa option for you to explore at all. Specific number of innovators, that's a question in the chat to say, is there a specific number of innovators the UK government are looking at getting into the country? The truth is that with the UK, with the advent of Brexit created a number of problems for the UK. But even if there was no Brexit, even in Europe, even in America, even in China, they're all trying to attract innovators because that's the new battleground. It's the new battleground. So there's no limit to the number of innovators that they are looking for. With the Technician visa, there used to be a limit about 5 years ago to say only 200 people per year. But now there's no limit anymore to the numbers because they understand that the more there are and the more successful those people are, the more that their country can become the fintech capital of the world, which is one of the things that the UK is trying to be, but also targeting to be one of the technology capital of the world. Is a bold statement to try and do, but that's what the UK is doing. And they know they cannot get there without attracting you as a talent to come to their economy. Okay, we're running out of time. Fred, okay, one more question. Somebody is asking about relocating with your family as regards this visa. Do you want to touch on that quickly before your final words?
Well, if you are relocating to the UK with the Global Talent Visa, just one person, just one person needs the visa, and then every other person can apply as a dependent on you. So you don't necessarily need to get a Global Talent Visa for all your dependents or everyone in your family. So just one person, and every other person needs to just depend on you. So depending on you probably means your wife and your children. So maybe your junior brother might not be able to do that if he's above 18, I guess. But just your immediate family, that is who the set of people that can depend on you. So don't invite your whole village or everyone. I'm not sure they will grant that.
Very grand. Fantastic. We are so over time, but I wanted you to speak to our 5 category of audience within eMigr8. We've got beginners in the room. What do you think they should be doing now? We've got intermediate people who are already in the field of tech. They've started their journey, they've done a number of things, but then they are trying to build their career and they're wondering what should they be doing now. Then we've got advanced people, 10 years experience, 15 years experience, IT manager, CTOs and all of that. They are also in the community thinking about their next step. Some of them, many of them with families, many of them with, oh, what should we be doing now? What should I be doing now? What would you say to each one of these categories? Then I'll come back to ask about 2 specific other category as well. What would you say to the beginner, intermediate, and then the more advanced people in the room? I would like you to take it category by category. What should they be doing?
Okay. Thank you for that. Also, for beginners, definitely can't despise the days of humble beginnings. We all started out from somewhere. So don't look at it that the journey is still very far. If you don't start today, you are still probably just going, definitely need to start one day. So starting now is probably the best. If you procrastinate and think that, oh, 6 months is too far or 2 years is too far before I get the visa, that 2 years will come and go and you still won't have the visa. So it's very important that you start now, whatsoever you plan on doing. Try as much as possible to start now. Start from this very moment, this very today. Send that message. or try to do that research, try to read up on the global talents, try to take an action tonight, start from now. So that's the best advice I can always give to anyone. We all procrastinate, but if we don't take that immediate action and we keep saying that, oh, since this Mr. Fred said we should start today, or I'm going to start tomorrow, start from this very moment before the end of this conversation that we're having this evening. That's the best advice that I can probably give. And for anyone that started and is probably trying to build, try as much as possible to tell a story around what you're building. Involve people, don't build in silos. Try as much as possible to engage other people that you're also building with, collaborate with people, put your work out there, let people test it, try to get recommendation, build friends as much as possible, because definitely they will help you down the line. Almost everyone that helps me in my way, I met them along the way also, and try to build relationship along along that line. So it's very, very important that whatever you're doing now, try as much as possible to bring more people in, tell your story, put your work out there. You never can tell who is seeing it and who is probably ready to even help you or fund you. And if you are trying to build your portfolio for the Global Talent Visa, don't think that 2 years is too far. Before you know it now, a year is gone, another year is gone, and then you are there already. So don't think it's too far. You definitely get there one day. Since you've started, that's the best decision you can ever make. And for advanced people who have been in tech for 10, 15 years, uh, it's very important. Everyone is always trying to look for the next step in their career and trying to move on. They should not feel as if, because I know once you get to a particular age, or you can feel that, oh, time is no longer on my side. I'm not sure I can relocate anymore. But the more you keep procrastinating as well, the more time keeps going, and then you look back 5 years down the line, and you be like, oh, I wish I could have done this at this particular point in time. I'm going to use my own story as an example. I was meant to apply for the technician maybe a year before I applied, but I was just thinking that, oh, maybe I'm not the right person they're looking for. Maybe I don't even have all the evidences that are required or everything that is needed. Trust me, with what you have, you can get started. And if you don't even apply now, I believe there's a limit as to the evidences that you can supply. So take, for instance, you can't submit anything beyond maybe the previous 5 years or so. I'm not so sure, but I think that should still be the
That's
case.
correct. 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's
it's very, very
evidence.
important. It's very, very important that you just get it now. Start working on it for your family, for your future as well, for your children's future as well. So it's very important that don't procrastinate, get into it as soon as you can. So that will probably be what I would say in that regard.
Fantastic. Before you speak to the other two audience, I know these questions came from the eMigr8 community manager, and I know they will kill me if I don't ask. So I've batched all of them together. They said, how did eMigr8 help the journey? We've answered that already. And then what were things you loved about the eMigr8 community? Then advice for others who might be interested in eMigr8 but hesitant, right? Like I said, I'm sure it came from eMigr8 community managers. But what did you like about the eMigr8 community? And then for people who might be hesitant around joining the eMigr8 platform and the eMigr8 community?
Well, I would say one thing I love about it is the community, and also the fact that someone is always ready to help. So hardly will you find that from Nigeria, I must say, because almost everyone is always trying as much as possible to guard their knowledge one way or the other. So if you have access to people who are ready and willing to help you, uh, go for it. And if you feel that you need more help, definitely also subscribe. There are several packages that I believe you can also subscribe, which I would definitely recommend that you should do that. So eMigr8, I would say, has been very, very helpful. The community, most especially Bade, very, very helpful to me. And I wouldn't, I don't want to downplay the effort and also the role that was played when I was applying for it, because I really needed that help. I needed that support, and someone was there for me. So I really, really appreciate that. So, and if you have access and you have the opportunity, definitely involve yourself. I'm on the WhatsApp group chats, and ask questions, and also subscribe to any of the plans that are available to help you. Looking down the line, you will definitely appreciate it also. And it will save you a lot of stress, So it will save you a lot of wasted, it won't allow you waste your time and also your resources on needless adventure by ensuring that they put you in place and also guide you through all the steps and processes that you need to succeed. So that's what I was saying in that regard.
Wow. And then so back to the two other audience of people trying to apply for the global talent, UK global talent visa. So we have people in the room who are currently in the UK, but they are not on a pathway to settlement, and they are wondering, oh, what can I do right now? What would you advise them?
So my advice for people in the UK who are currently not on the pathway to settlement, definitely you want to definitely get on a visa that allows you to, within the next 3-5 years at most, get an indefinite leave to remain, and then from there onwards, get your citizenship. So the global talent visa is the best route. I know there are several other types of visa, but I can really speak to the global talent visa route, which is the best. So if you are probably doing something related to technology or you are looking into getting into tech, now is also the best time to start and start looking into it and building a portfolio. Because if you think that, oh, 2 years is too long, because that's the way I see it. If you think 2 years is too long for me to get all my documents, all the evidences that I need to be ready, trust me, that 2 years is still going to come and go, and then you still be in the same place where you are. So I will advise that you jump from that visa that you currently are now and try as much as possible to find a way that you can get on a global talent visa. It's really the best visa. I've been in the UK for some time now, and I know when they're talking about types of visas, the global talent tier one visa is the best. Within 3 years, you're eligible, depending on the route you get anyways, you're eligible for the indefinite leave to remain. You can't get anything better than that. I think it's even one of the shortest routes to citizenship,
Yeah.
based on what I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, exceptional talent is one of the shortest routes to citizenship. You can become a UK citizen within 4 years, 3 years to permanent residency, and then by your fourth year, you can become a UK citizen on that visa route. We promised, for those who are still on the call, we promised you that if you waited to the end, we had a gift for you. And this is the gift. Normally, within the eMigr8 community, you only qualify for one free short inquiry session. But because you watched this video to the end, or you stayed on this call to the end, you would actually get a second free short inquiry session. And so the way that could work is that the first one, you can use that. These are private sessions with an eMigr8 coach. You can say, oh, fine, I want to use one for clarity. And then the next one, oh, I've done some work. I want to now use that to maybe a document review or whatever it is. So you get a second short inquiry session because you were on this call till the end, or you watch the video to the end. Fred, final category, people who are trying to apply now. They are currently putting together their document, trying to apply within the next couple of weeks and all of that. What would you advise them?
If you are probably trying to apply now, the best advice I will give you is ensure you don't rush it. A lot of people are being rejected now, like I mentioned earlier, because they are just rushing and just submitting anything they have. And a lot of people who are even ordinarily qualified, but because they've not properly structured the application well, are still going to be rejected. So I would say, look into your application before you submit. Let someone have a second look as well. Let someone review it. No matter how qualified you are, no matter how good you are at what you currently do, no matter what the evidences you have that you even provided for your document, let someone else have a look at what you are doing. And I believe the guys and eMigr8 can help you do that. So don't just submit in a hurry. Don't just submit anything you have. Ensure that whatever you're submitting, from your statements to your letters of recommendation, everything tallies, everything tells a story about you, everything solidifies your personal statements, everything is telling them that, oh, you are either an exceptional talent or you are an exceptional promise, and you've been able to fulfill all the criteria that are required in the technician or requirement documents. So I believe that is probably the most important. Ensure that someone should have a second look at what you are submitting before you submit. Don't be in a hurry. You're not rushing anywhere. Because at the end of the day, if you are rejected, you need to appeal or maybe apply again. And that is going to take some time off from you. So just dedicate your time, look into it, get someone else to look at it for you before you submit.
Fantastic. And we've spoken for so long now, almost 2 hours, and you've spoken about your journey, you've spoken about your application, you've spoken about what you submitted with your packaging of the application, how eMigr8 helped the journey, and so on. I wanted to just ask final words for the community. I know you're a part of the community and hopefully always still going to be a part. Now, a member of the community, now becoming a coach in the community, but what are some of your final words on this open day for the eMigr8 community?
My final words, definitely go for it. That's what I always tell people. Try as much as possible to go for it, because at the end of the day, even if you are rejected, we are going to get reasons why you are rejected. And at the end of the day, also, if you don't apply, you won't know the results that you're going to get at the end of the day. So my final word would just be go for it. Don't be scared. Try as much as possible to also be prepared before you go for it, before you apply. But as much as possible, the Global Talent Visa is the best route for anyone in tech or anyone who is aspiring to get into tech and live in Nigeria at the moment.
Thank you so much, Fred. We really, really appreciate your time on this call. And I believe this has been a very useful session for the members of the community. If this was useful for you, could you drop in the chat? Could you drop in the comment to let us know? Give us the feedback. We need that feedback to continue doing this. We do this at no cost to you. So we actually do need the feedback. Let us know if we're doing something good. And yeah, if we're not doing something right as well, do let us know as well. And give us the feedback. Was this a useful session? Was this something that helped your journey? And let us know. And when you are successful as well, also do let us know as well, because this is the reason why we keep going. This is the reason why many of the coaches on the eMigr8 platform are volunteering to help people as well. We are here to help, and that's something I would like to just re-emphasize as well. We are here to help. We will love to help. Whether you're a beginner in the room and you're just trying to start your journey in tech, there are a number of programs that are available within our ecosystem, like the Beacon Global Tech program, and several other programs are available to help you. Even if you are an intermediate person in the room, if you are trying to apply immediately, we've got the eMigr8 platform available to help you. We've got our tech career coaching and several others as well. If you are preparing your application as at this moment, if 10-15 minutes clarity session may be all that you need and may be extremely useful for you to get you to the next level, to get you to where it is that you want to get to, which is a case of a successful application. eMigr8 does not only focus on the UK Global Talent Visa. Our focus for today's open day was the UK Global Talent Visa, but we also do and coach on a number of other visa routes. We coach on the UK Innovator Founder Visa route. We coach on the UK Skilled Worker Visa route. We coach for other countries as well. We have coaches focused on the US O1, US EB1, French Tech Visa, the Canada Startup Visa, many startup visas across Europe, Australia Global Talent Visa, and there are several other tech-enabled visa opportunities. There are several other tech talent visas that are available from all over the world. This is what eMigr8 focuses on. eMigr8 has free services and also premium services. We run a freemium model. A freemium model is that we do most of the things that we do for free, but then we also charge a premium for some things if you need a little extra. And so we are here to help. If you need that help, do not hesitate to contact us. Do not hesitate to contact us and ask for that help that you need at any point in time. We also invite you to join the eMigr8 community. The eMigr8 community is where we've got a number of coaches, and we are available on a number of social media platforms. We're on WhatsApp, we're on Telegram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we've got communities across those platforms where we have coaches. You can ask questions. Other members of the community can contribute. We ask you to share, like, comment, and let other people know about these opportunities that are available to you. We also invite you to the subsequent and the next eMigr8 Open Day. We've got open days on a monthly basis where we focus on different visa opportunities. We drill down, well, we spent almost 2 hours on this particular session, but typically 1.5 hours, but we drill down into that visa route and we give you as much information as possible. These are information that you will not be able to find by if you just Google it or anything like that. And we bring coaches to come and dissect different visa routes. So we invite you for those eMigr8 Open Days, and we ask that you also share it with friends, share it with colleagues, share it with people that you feel like they need to know about these opportunities. One of the things we know about the community right now, and one of the things we know about the ecosystem right now, is that a number of people do not know that these visa opportunities exist. And for some people that know that the visa opportunity exists, they do not realize that, oh, when they say global talent, it is them that they are talking about. And it's until a friend tells them, or maybe a second friend tells them, that they are now say, oh, what are they even talking about? Oh, let me look at this requirement. Oh, first time is really daunting. But then the next time they look at it, they realize, hey, and Fred mentioned it during this conversation as well, that, oh, initially, he didn't think he would qualify, and now he's on the other side as a coach on the same platform that he was able to benefit from. And this is what we're saying to say we're here to help. We're building a platform around tech-enabled visa opportunities. We're building a platform around tech talent visas, and we're asking that you share, you like, you contribute, and you also get help because we are here to help. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We believe that you've been able to get value, and we ask that you also let other people know and share it with other people as well. Thank you so much for this time. We do appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much, Fred. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending so much of extra time on this session, but it was really, really packed. Really packed, and thank you for the time. And that's it, everyone. See you on the other side. See you at the next edition of eMigr8